God always gives us a choice. He doesn't force us to do anything. So I grew up in a Christian household, which is obviously the foundation for my whole life, really.
Everyone go see Beyond Belief, August 28th in the theaters. All right, everyone, welcome to JM Clips. I'm Jarrett McIntyre, and today I'm joined by a new friend of the channel, Debby Gerber. Debby, you've done a ton in film and television, but you're starring in the upcoming movie Beyond Belief. If I believe I'm right, set to hit theaters August 28th. So obviously we're here to talk about Beyond Belief, and we'll definitely get to that. But I've heard you. I've been trying to do my research, and I know in many other interviews you're always asked this. So I'm sorry to be a cliche, but before we get to the story of Beyond Belief, I do want to capture like the bullet point synopsis, amazing story of just your own testimony. So assuming like people are coming across you for the first time, what is the like snapshot version of growing up in Switzerland, coming to LA, nothing to do with acting, and then like God steering you down those other directions?
I do think he has bigger plans for us than we do. So yeah, I was born and raised
Amen.
in Switzerland, in Basel. My whole family is still there. I obviously did not have any intentions of going to Hollywood, living in LA, becoming an actor. Like when you grow up in Switzerland,
Yeah.
the film industry is just so far away for us. Like Hollywood is not really a thing. I didn't even know that it's actually a city. So, it was just not something that was on my mind. I was on the path to become a social worker back home because my dad was a social worker. He was retired now. My parents are Christian. I was raised Christian. My dad was a pastor before he transitioned into social work. So I grew up in a Christian household, which is obviously the foundation for my whole life, really. Yeah. But seeing my dad and his work, it really inspired me where I thought, that's what I want to do. I'm very empathetic. I care for people. I love people. I love to help where I can. And I thought that was God's gift. So I'm going to use it for that, for social work. And I was on that path and I studied and I was about to go to university to get the school system back home is a bit different, but I was going to go to university to get my bachelor's degree. And then I was forced to take a 1-year break because I was a year younger than everyone. And they were like, well, to qualify for this program, you need to be a certain age. Even though I was a valedictorian in the previous school, I still, they were like, you just have to catch up in age.
Academically, you were on par.
It was like, it made no sense. But now, of course, looking back, I was like, I get it. I see God in all of this. But at the time, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, now I'm forced to take a 1-year break. What do I do? Like, I literally had no plans. So I just started submitting for regular jobs. I started working in a pet store. I was a waitress, like just kind of making money for a year before I could go to do my studies. And that was when this kind of like dream that I had of just kind of at least once in my life visiting the US, like seeing the US. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to work for like half a year and take the other 6 months to go to the US because after that, I'll be in school for 4 years and then I'll work and maybe have a family, who knows, so I won't have time. So I've always been fascinated with America and the English language. Not so much the film industry at all, it's just America. So I did that.
That's cool.
So I think it probably has to do with movies because obviously we watch American movies at home, so there was a fascination for that. But yeah, so I long story short, my gosh, it's a very long story. But eventually, I ended up going to a school in Westwood in Los Angeles, which was an English language center to study English because you can only come here either as a tourist for 3 months or if you sign up for classes. So I was like, well, I love English, so I'm going to study English. The school ended up being in Westwood, California, Los Angeles, which I don't know what that was or where that was. And then I did that, and then I had 2 months left on my visa, and that's when I was like, well, I'm in LA.
Was that stressful?
No. Like I knew they gave me like 6 months, and the school, the
Oh, okay.
language center was only for 4 months. So either I
Got
could have taken the other 2 months to just travel and be a tourist, or I could have done another class.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm by myself. I don't really feel like traveling on my own when I don't know anyone. So I was like, I'm
Totally.
gonna stay. And literally my thought was like, I'm in LA. People act here. Like I'm literally like in Hollywood. And I was like, this is something
Yeah.
I would never do because my nature is very timid and shy. That's
Yeah.
changed over the years.
Yeah.
But I used to be very, very shy and kind of insecure. And to this day, I do struggle with speaking in front of crowds. Like I have
Okay.
horrible stage fright. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna do something that terrifies me, which is going on a stage and make a fool out of myself. So,
Good for you. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, when you're 20, you're like,
Yeah.
what,
Well,
I'm
it
not
worked. It
doing
worked
this.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I literally Googled acting classes in LA, and the first thing that came up was the Stella Adler Academy of Acting and Theater in Hollywood.
Yes.
I didn't even know who Stella Adler was. Like, I knew nothing about theater.
Yeah.
But I read it, and I was like, sounds great. They work with my imagination.
Yeah. Sounds legit. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a cool school. It's like close by.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
signed up for just a 2 months, like a 2-month course. And
Yeah.
when I first arrived, I remember I started on a Monday. On Friday, one of my teachers pulled me aside, and I will never forget in his deep voice. And he was like, Gerber, you're okay. And little did I know, he was right. So that 2 months turned into them giving me 2 scholarships for the first year and then for the
Man.
second year, so I could actually finish the school and finish my studies.
Yeah.
Which obviously
That's
completely
amazing.
changed my life completely. Yeah.
Of course.
I ended
Yeah.
up doing 2 years of full-on acting school, theater school. I first got introduced to Shakespeare and Tennessee Williams and all the amazing playwrights that I didn't really know before. I got to understand character building and script breakdown and all the things and like improv and stage combat. Like it was really fun, but it was also a lot, but it was kind of like a life school. So it was really,
For sure.
it was amazing. And then once I graduated that's when I was like, well, what do I do now? Do I continue on this path, or do I go back to Switzerland and now go back to school and studies? And it's just, doors were just opening up that I did not even knock on. That's why I know now looking back, this was all God. Because I could not have planned this for myself. Like literally, I could not, when I was 20 years old or even 19 at the time, I would not have ever made that decision in Switzerland.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my home, my family, my friends, move across the pond to America and become an actor. Like, that's terrifying. I would have never done that.
Yeah.
And God knew that. So he made a way for me to kind of just fall into it, and just step by step things were opening up and happening. So that obviously I fell in love with the art of acting. Like it just kind of was such a natural development that I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I need this in my life. I need to do this. I need to have a career. It was more so,
For sure.
this is okay. Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. You have such a beautiful story that, in my opinion, is like really edifying to like just the Christian worldview. So for context, by day I'm a school teacher, and right now, right now I'm teaching for my 8th graders a careers class, and I'll be honest, was kind of thrown into it, but we're starting out with identifying like your passions and your values and all those things. And your story is so unique, and again, I think it really, not that it doesn't exist for other people, but the way your story unfolds exists really for God's children, in this sense, like as you said, your interests and your passions weren't really leading you down that road. It wasn't anything other than God putting things in front of you and you saying, "Okay, I'll try it." And so that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I do feel God always gives us a choice. He doesn't force us to do anything. He's just like, well, this is the idea and the path I have for you. It is on us to say yes or no to it, even if sometimes it can be really scary and can be conflicting. But if we trust and say yes, he's got plans for all of us. So
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, obedience can be scary, but you were obedient to what the Lord was asking of you, and man, you've made a career out of it, to say the least. So before we quite get to Beyond Belief, one more question, and I think just fun things to ask is, So, people see all the movies, the TV shows, the awards even, but the way I understand it is, you worked your way up and you really have earned the place in the industry that you're at right now through student films, stand-in work. You've done stand-in work on major productions. And so like just what were those years like? Were you ever like, okay, were you fully content and like this is where I'm supposed to be, or was there moments of like, whew, maybe I should have been maybe I should have stuck with the social work idea, or what was
Right.
that
Well,
like? Yeah.
I think every actor will hit those moments a lot of like, what am I
Yeah.
doing? I made a major mistake. I'm gonna go back home. And just recently had this again. Like, I think this will never leave us. We are so
Okay.
self-critical, and especially because the industry we're in is such a unique industry, where there is no
Yes.
guarantees. There's just no backup. You're in it or you're not.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying and scary. We don't have a set income. We're always kind of chasing the next job, the next opportunity. In between,
Totally.
we don't have work. so
Yes.
so it's constantly on the go, on the go. So I most definitely had a lot of times where I was doubting my skills, doubting myself, doubting God's idea and path for me, where I was like, God, do you want me to go
Yeah.
back to Switzerland? I kind of tried this, like it's not really moving, like I don't know. So I think that's
Yes.
also quite normal, even if
For
you're
sure.
further along in your career. But
Okay.
I'm very grateful that the way it started for me. I'm so glad, and frankly, really, I have no intentions and no wants or needs to be famous and rich and all that. Like, I like
Yeah.
my little personal private life, and I'm a private person, so I'm
That's
not looking
awesome.
for
Yeah.
that at all.
The industry
So
needs more people like you. So
yeah, I'm like, talk about them. Like, I just want to live my life and make good movies.
your thing.
But I'm
I respect. Yeah.
yes. Like I don't know how life would have turned out for me, let's say if I would have come to LA at 20 and 3 years later I would have been a
Mm.
big star. Like that's terrifying. And
Yeah.
unfortunately we see that a lot of kid stars and teenage stars, they are really struggling later in life. Not everybody,
Yeah.
but a lot of them, because it's just too big
Totally.
too soon, too much responsibility, too much money, too much fame. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that I feel like I'm still nowhere. I'm still working on my career, but I've been at this now for 17 years, and
Yeah.
it really humbles you, and it really also prepares you when you start literally on the bottom. And the bottom to me
Yeah.
was, unpaid work, student films, background work, sometimes even unpaid background work, just to
Yeah.
get on set, just to get experience of what is a set. Because I came from theater. I've never in my life
Yes.
before that been on a movie set or a short film set. So I was
It's
background
different.
on a student film because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even understand these words, these terms that they're using. Like, what's a mark? What's a camera? What's a
Yeah.
DP? Like, I don't know. So
Yes.
I have to like learn by doing. I didn't really take like camera classes. Everything was theater. So I was
Okay.
yearning to be on set. So I did all the student films, low paying short films. And then it just gradually kind of started developing into, oh, now I have a feature film, a small part, but and now I have a bigger part, and now this. And then I got into stand-in work. And stand-in work opened up a whole other realm for me for working on crazy big productions. And that's when I really learned that's how this rolls. That's how people are. It can be very stressful. People can be very rude. It's not all Christian, kind, and sweet. It's like it's Hollywood.
Totally.
It's in the midst of it. And because of doing that, I got to work with a lot of A-list celebrities. And again, it just really humbles you. And thankfully to me, I never had like a bad experience with somebody that is known and well known. It would really crush me if I'm working with someone that I admire their work, and then they tend to be not the greatest people. That would be crushing. But I didn't have that experience. I got to work with people. I was their stand-in or their photo double, like Amy Adams, Lady Gaga, Jessica Chastain. I was on X-Men, and gosh, I'm thinking all the names, but like big major Hollywood productions.
Yeah.
And in a way, it started to become kind of the new norm. Like, in the beginning, it's all big and grand. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm on this set, and this is amazing. And I'm in Warner Brothers, and I'm at Universal Studios. It is all really amazing. But then became quickly the norm, which again helps me as an actor to be like, you know what, they're all people. Like, it helps me to kind of take away that they're up here and I'm down here. I was like,
Yeah.
no, we're all in this together. We're all trying to create
Yeah.
something fun, something beautiful for people to watch. Yes, there's different paychecks and different ranks.
Mhm.
But in the end, it helped me to see everyone on set, cast and crew, as fellow artists, as fellow
That's
people,
awesome.
and that
Yeah,
I'm not less than. You know, even if I'm
for
just a
sure.
stand-in or if I'm just a background person, I'm like, we're
Yes.
all in it together, you know? And it
Yes.
was very motivating for me to watch these amazing actresses that I would stand in for, to see how they work on set, you know, how they
Yeah.
prepare, how they communicate, how they talk. So it was such an amazing learning lesson for me. And there was a
Yeah.
time, I was full-time stand-in during the pandemic, actually, on a CBS show called Be Positive by Chuck Lorre. And that was a
Okay.
blessing because a lot of people were out of work. We were the first show that
Mhm.
got back to work when kind of things
Oh my
opened up
gosh.
again. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was on that show for like almost 2 seasons, and it was a sitcom. So that's you know, we had like five
Yeah.
cams, five
Well,
cameras.
different.
A little
Yeah.
different, really fun, great environment, very stressful.
Yeah.
But again, I learned a lot on that set because it was so different. And
Yeah.
that set actually, which was amazing, they gave me 2 co-stars on it. You know, they upgraded me.
Oh my
Like
god.
on the first season, I got a co-star, and then on the second season, they wrote a co-star in for me, which was like,
Oh my
what?
gosh.
Because
Yeah.
when you're a
Yeah.
stand-in, you know, you're in front of camera all the time.
Yeah.
You are sometimes delivering the lines. You're doing it just
Yeah.
as the actor. And if you are an actor, it's not that I'm going to go show off, but I want to do a good job. I'm not going to be bad. You know, I'm
Exactly.
going to do
Yeah.
what I can
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yeah.
portray the
You're,
actor well.
yeah. You're hustling, man. Yeah.
I'm trying, but you know, I also enjoy
Yeah.
it. Like that makes the work really
Yeah.
fun when you actually get to
For
be on
sure.
those stages and you
Yeah.
get to
You're
perform these
doing
lines.
your craft.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love it. Was great. Terrifying,
Yeah.
but great. Because you're doing that, then, you know, they tend to be like, oh, she knows what she's doing. She's not a beginner. So I think they felt
Yeah.
comfortable enough to upgrade me and then to give me another line. But then the crazy thing was towards the end of season 2, the first AD, he's a dinosaur in this industry. Like he was the first AD on
Oh.
Friends. You know, he's been around for decades.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone was terrified of him because he can be very strict and very harsh. But thankfully, me and him always got along. But I will never
Good.
forget that he one day called me into his office. And I was like, oh boy, what did I do?
Ooh, scary.
That
Yeah.
is terrifying. The dinosaur calls you into the office. That is not a good place to be in. No, but he called me in and he was like, I literally felt like God was speaking through him, where he was
Yeah.
like, well, are you an actor or are you a stand-in? And
Oh.
I walked out
Yeah.
that off, and it wasn't in any like, you know,
Yeah.
we don't like you being an actor, but I just got more busy. I had more auditions, and they were
Yep.
able to let me go. Like during lunch, I was doing auditions on the bathroom lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and they were just like, we
Yeah.
don't want the stand-in work to hold you back. And
Yeah.
that's when I made the decision. And they didn't fire me, they didn't let me go or anything. They asked me what I want to do. And
That's amazing.
I left and I quit that show, which was crazy for me to do because this was such a safety net. You know, it was good income, and I had a Monday to Friday kind of work schedule, and I was making money, and it was a
Yeah.
guaranteed income. But I walked away from it because I literally felt God asking me, what are you?
Mm.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
You know, and I
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
I got everything out of out of that show that I was able to get out of more than I thought. And from then on, I went back to fully committing to acting, and God
Mhm.
rewarded it so much. Like
Yes.
I had never been more busy than during those next 2 years that were coming. So it was kind of
Yeah.
wild how it all developed. Yeah.
That, that's amazing. Well, a production you're definitely not a stand-in on is beyond belief, and so I
Well,
know.
I was my own stand-in on that, so kind of.
Yeah. Well, you're that and more, that and more. So yeah, so Beyond Belief is your upcoming theatrical release feature film. And I know you can't, right? It's coming. It's not quite in theaters. We don't want to give too much away, but the way I understand it is you play a motherly role in this movie. You play Sarah Ellis, mother to protagonist Andy Ellis, and
Yeah.
again, the way I understand is, you know, Andy's kind of going through some things. He's grieving some things, but he also has big dreams, and you are kind of alongside him in that role. So for people. I was texting my mom and my dad earlier today. They're, as I told you all ago, they're big Petra fans. So I was like, I'm
Yeah,
interviewing the
love
girl
it.
doing the Petra, but yeah, but but yeah, so people are coming across this movie for the first time. Like, what hook or what information are you comfortable with them having about this movie going into
Yeah.
it?
I mean, the biggest part of it is that it's a fun movie. It is
Yes,
set,
it
it
looks
is
fun.
set in the 80s, 1980s, and for that alone,
Yes.
it's so worth it. And yes, of course, it's a faith-based film, but I really feel like this is for anyone and everyone, all the ages,
Okay.
every gender. Like
Yes.
this, people are just
Family
gonna have
movie.
a blast. It's
Yeah.
definitely obviously family friendly, but this is,
Yeah.
it's about 1980s Christian rock music, and it's good,
Yes.
good music. Like when you hear
Good.
Christian
Good
rock,
music.
they're like, "Wait, what do you mean Christian rock?"
Oh,
Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
if you don't
Yeah.
know Petra, you gotta listen to them because their music is
I
incredible.
I owe
Yeah.
it to mom and dad. Not only I told you, they raised me on Petra, but it
Yeah.
was done right because they pretty much just like shoveled off all the old CDs.
Oh
So I
yeah.
listened to them properly, CD in the
Yes.
boombox.
Oh, I
Yes.
love it.
So,
So you're gonna have a
oh yeah.
blast. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear what you think about it. You're gonna have a blast. But yeah, it's a really feel good movie. We have
Yeah.
original songs. We have obviously
Oh,
songs
okay.
from Petra in it, and Carson
Yeah.
Luders, who plays my son Andy Ellis in it. He's a singer. He's a guitar player in real
Right
life.
on.
He has his whole fans and his whole thing going on. But
Very
he
cool.
sang original songs for this, so his songs are incredible and just a
Oh my
combination of
gosh.
fun.
Yeah.
But on top of it, it's also very heartfelt and real because
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a comedy, even though there's a lot of fun
Okay.
to it, a lot of excitement in
Totally.
it. But
Yeah.
it's a family drama in the end too,
Yeah.
because yeah, Andy, the
It has
lead.
stakes. It has, yeah, his weight.
Yes. Yeah, and like the movie centers around the family, Andy, the son, and then the husband and mom, Sarah, and then there's
Okay.
Grandpa Jake. So it centers around the family, and unfortunately, and I can say that because they've promoted that, the husband, the dad, passes away,
Yeah.
and he's a
Yes.
pastor. So the
Okay.
son, Andy, is really struggling with this. I mean, we all are. The mom, the wife is, but
Yeah.
especially the kid, the teenage boy, he's like, God, why did you take my dad away? He's a pastor. He was a good man. He did all the right things. And while he was helping someone else, he had to die. Why?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
he's struggling with this. And
Yeah.
for him to get through his grief, he's connecting with music and he's, finding Petra and goes on this
Yeah.
whole new journey to try and find some kind of something to hold on to while he's going through this time of grief. And for my
Yeah.
character, Sarah, that's why I love this character so much. She goes on a huge journey. Like her character development in
Interesting.
this is so beautiful because she
Yeah.
starts as sweet, supportive wife and mom, to then suddenly
Yeah.
being faced with, oh my gosh, our rock of the family
Yeah.
is gone. I'm on my
Oh
own.
my god.
We have bills to pay, and she is she's a nurse, so she's working hard. But now I have to pay for my son. I have to pay for mortgages. I have to pay for the church. We're losing people. Like she's under all this stress while
Oh my
she's trying to
gosh.
be a good mom, while she's trying to be a good
Yeah.
Christian and not freak out, and she's dealing with her own
Yeah.
health problems. So she's going on a whole journey and trying for her to remain humble and kind while really
Yeah.
being under a lot of stress. That was for me
Yeah.
very interesting to like dive into.
What I'm excited for is, there's, the faith-filled film industry is so diverse in its themes and
Mhm.
its tropes, and there's stereotypes, and then there's the ones that break through the stereotypes. And from everything I'm hearing and talking to you, I'm excited to see a Christian movie that portrays that, hey, just because you are a Christian, just because you are a faithful person, it doesn't mean life's going to be candy and easy for you. You're right.
Yeah.
There's still trials to walk through and things to stay faithful towards. So everything I'm hearing you say, I could not be more excited for. Um, so
Yeah.
so I've heard you say in other interviews before that I can't remember if it was an interview or an article, but somewhere you've discussed you've discussed that you've had to learn not to like judge your characters,
Mhm.
but understand like why is it this character is making these decisions and things like that. So obviously, I know we can't give as you said, not too much away about Sarah and the intricacies of what you just kind of laid out there, but whether it was something like the script gave you or you just kind of made your own for the character, like what was there something, and obviously you can't say, maybe you can or can't say the thing, but was there elements about Sarah that you really leaned into for this, or um, would help you understand why she would respond to Annie's dreams and everything that way? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question too. Oh, excuse me. Um, yeah, obviously I'm not a mom. I'm not a wife, so those are not things necessarily that I could like pull from my own life.
Yeah.
That's where Still Adder came in, the technique of imagination of what would that feel
Totally.
like. But
Yeah.
my connection with her 1000% is our faith.
Yeah.
Sarah is a faithful woman and a servant, and her heart is following the Lord and trying to do what's right. And, in the end, no matter what she's under, what kind of stress she's under, what kind of worries she's feeling, to always focus on her son and just be there for her son and do what she thinks is right in the moment.
Okay.
And that's where I was leaning on my own understanding and my faith, when I feel
Yeah.
overwhelmed and stressed out. And it's so easy to act out or like get angry or mad or whatever, or like really just drown in worries. And part of that happens in the movie, because again, we're human and things happen.
Mm.
But then when you're in that, then what do you do? And
Yeah.
that character could have gone another route of like falling completely into depression, because that's also a very natural thing that can happen, Christian or
Totally.
not,
Yeah.
believer or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Exactly.
especially when you're a
Life's for
believer,
real.
right? When things happen and then it feels like God left us alone or allowed this to happen,
Yes.
to go down a really
Mm.
dark path. So then it's on
Yeah.
us to be like, well, how do I pull myself out of this? How do I move on from this? How do I deal with this? And that's when we
Yeah.
really have to look up and hold on. And that's what
For sure.
Sarah did. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
feeling from it. And if she would have gone the other route of falling deeper into darkness, I, as
Mm.
Debby Gerber actress, I, cannot go and judge her for it. Then I have to find the
Yeah.
humanity out of like, okay, I personally probably wouldn't have allowed that to happen, but
Yeah.
what if? What if that
Yeah.
was to happen, and what led
Yeah.
her to it? So I have to find understanding for it and make it make sense for me, so I can play it as truthfully as
Yeah.
possible, instead of like, oh, she's crazy, she went into depression, or she went and did that.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anyone. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that answered your question, but
Why? Oh no, it did totally. I'm so encouraged to hear just when you're describing Sarah, like I'm hearing people I know, and so
Mhm.
very encouraged to hear you just I mean obviously you're a professional, not that you wouldn't, but you just went into it with this like very mature perspective on what the character is going through and how that's just anyways. I'm just so excited to hear
Right.
about your portrayal, Sarah, but the whole thematic experience. So with that note, what and again, I know you can't say, well, I'm ready for audience members to see this or that, but like, what general central idea or theme, like when let's say a family of four goes to see this movie and they've just seen it, they're walking out of the theaters, headed back to the car, like what are you excited that whether it be a general emotion or a feeling you hope they have, like what are you excited that audiences can take away from this movie?
I hope they kind of went a bit on a roller coaster ride with this movie in the best
Okay.
way,
Yeah.
because I do think it's
Yeah.
taking you for all kinds of emotions. And again, it
Yeah.
is excitement. It's fun. Like you're feeling like you're attending a rock concert. Like it's really fun and puts you in a good mood. But then it's also allowing you to feel and hopefully to connect. I mean, that's what we want as
Yeah.
when we put movies out like that. We want an audience to connect with the characters, and
Yeah.
sometimes even see themselves in some of these characters. So I hope they can find moments to connect and think about their own lives and see that there's always hope, that there's always a
Yeah.
path no matter what, that there is a God, and he's a good God, and he will lead you, and all you have to do
Yeah.
is say yes.
That's amazing. So yeah, I'm just always encouraged when stories are perfectly pointing upwards to the true story, the whole story of the world, and so that's really exciting. So back to you as an artist. So speaking of storytelling and being a storyteller, you have recently stepped into that role, but not in front of, but behind the camera as a producer, if I understand that correctly, with Dove Productions. So I just was interested to know, like, has your understanding of storytelling changed stepping behind the camera, or are there new types of stories you're looking for? Like, how has that new lens shaped your pursuit of this
Yeah.
career?
this was also something like acting I was not planning on doing. Things just literally, again, people came to me and they were like, you're really skilled in
Yeah.
this department and you should maybe look into this. And I was actually kind of running from it because it's terrifying. But then
Yeah.
just it kept finding me, and that's when I was like, all right, God, I hear you. Like, clearly this is something
Yes.
you want me to step into, even though I'm terrified. So let's see. And this started maybe now 3 years ago, I want to say.
Okay.
But I will say, again, it's been 3 years. It's been a long journey, and I'm still in the midst of it. I have
For
yet
sure.
not actually finished producing something, and that just shows you how
Yeah.
hard it is. I
Oh,
feel
I'm
like
sure
I've
it's a
now been
long
attached. Oh
process.
yeah, I've now been attached to multiple different projects. One was we filmed the POC, the proof of concept of it. It was supposed to become a 6-episode series, a really,
Okay.
really ambitious, incredible project, but that ended up falling
Yeah.
apart because of all kinds of reasons that are not in my control. And then there
Okay.
was a beautiful modern Western, kind of like Yellowstone,
Oh, all right.
but in a Christian version
Totally.
that
Yeah.
still kind of, we've
I'll
still
take a
been
Kristen
working on it.
Yellowstone.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm
Yeah.
a horse girl. I ride horses and
All
I
right.
love the
Yeah.
real world. So that was big on my heart. But we're
Yeah.
still, things are just falling through and not happening and people not committing and all the things. And there's another
Yeah.
new world now that you may be aware of the whole verticals that has been taking over.
Yes. I am aware.
Right? Yeah, so as an actor on that front, I've been very much involved in that here in LA over the last 2 years because it's a
Okay.
different format. It's working, it's paying the bills. Let's just be real. It's not
Yeah.
Christian by any means. It's soap operas and they're crazy stories,
No, yes.
but it keeps me working.
Yeah.
I'm on camera. I'm on
Totally.
a set. I meet people and it pays the bills. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
There
But
you go.
because I've been on these sets and I'm reading these scripts and they're usually really bad, that made me think of like, okay, so clearly there's this new genre out, this new platform that is working
Yeah.
and people are curious about and they're watching content. So we have to use that form, make use of it, and bring the gospel in a new way. Because
Yeah.
it's so hard still today to get people to go see a movie in theaters. We're so blessed
Mhm.
that Beyond Belief is coming to theaters. We don't know though if people
Yeah.
are actually going to pay the ticket price and go see it
Yeah.
in theaters, or if they're going to
Yeah.
wait for it to come out.
We have one committed ticket right here. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
But that's just the reality. Since the pandemic, it's been
Yeah.
so hard to get people to go see a movie in theaters. So this new platform of streaming on verticals
Yeah.
has just taken over. So me now with my producing hat on, I'm like, well, we got to dive into that. So I've partnered with a couple of women and we're trying to do faith-based verticals, but not
Yeah.
what you would expect. Like we kind of want to steer away a bit from being on the nose faith-based. We want this to be a
No,
platform
hey,
that is
you're speaking
open.
my language.
Ah!
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
Again,
you're
Beyond Belief is very much out there faith-based, and I'm loving it. There's nothing wrong with it. But I also
No, yeah, yeah.
I have a heart for both. I also love films and shows
Yes.
where the message is in there and the values are in there, but it's not so much on the nose and it's kind of
Yes.
more available to everyone
Yeah.
to see. Yeah, so
I
that's
have
kind
a
of what
whole video.
we're looking at.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I have a whole video devoted to like expanding the thematic the themes we see in Christian movies, just because that's going to diversify the industry and promote,
Yes.
build up the faithful
Yeah.
industry. But okay,
Yeah.
funny comment here. It's going to feel like it's not connected, but I promise I'll loop it back in. Yeah, I came across you for Beyond Belief, but I'll be honest. There was something I was like, I feel like I've definitely seen her before. I couldn't place it, but then doing my research, I realized that Wally De La Fuente over Discovery TV, right?
I
And
love
now
Wally. Everybody loves Wally.
so you definitely know him better than I do, because I've yet to meet him in person.
Yeah.
But I know Wally through the phone because he was so generous, and he accepted. We have like a short film on his platform and everything,
On Rediscover?
but so I just know him through
Backlot?
on Rediscover, yeah.
Yes, nice.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I saw an interview with you and Wally, and I was like, oh, I've definitely seen her. On probably just something to do with him. I know you did a film with him, so I was like, something to do with an outreached hand of Wally de la Fuente, I've definitely seen Debbie. So
Oh, that's funny.
that's
And
really
it's
cool.
funny because Wally and I, we first met at the International Christian Film Festival in Orlando, and this was probably like 3 years ago. That's where we first connected. And I remember he really wanted to interview me for his channel, and these festivals can get so crazy busy. It didn't end up happening. And then the following year, we reconnected at the same festival, and then we sat down and we did like a 30-minute interview. So that's what you saw.
Well,
but since then, Wally and I have become friends, and we actually just did a short film together that's
very
out,
cool.
and he's such a fantastic guy, and he's such a wonderful believer and supporter of Christian filmmakers. So he's great.
Well, I'm sure I'm telling you something you already know, but I'm pretty sure he just launched like his own vertical streaming platform.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I'm telling you things you already know. Like I had something cool to say, but I'm
way
like,
ahead of you. Way ahead of you.
yeah.
No, we actually, Wally and I, we were on a Zoom conference together as hosts, basically, about verticals. So I'm aware he's fantastic, and obviously I hope to work with him on that as well.
Well, sorry for the slight moment of pride on my end.
How this happens.
Yeah, but all right, well, awesome. I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but real quick, a couple of questions for you before we close. But we went through some of the main details of your story and just getting to where you're at now, and you're telling more amazing stories with Beyond Believe and much upcoming work. But for someone who feels like they're standing kind of at the beginning of their own journey, like I would probably be someone who finds myself in that position of I'm maybe like Andy in a different way. Like I see this potential journey ahead of me that's more artistic, less less traditional, but I have these passions. I have this faith that seems to be running alongside these desires. For someone that in that camp, like what would be like a word of encouragement or just something you wish you could tell to them?
Yeah. Well, number one thing is just trust God, really. Like he has a plan for all of us, every single one of us. And those plans are good plans, and they're usually better than what we have in mind. So, God puts an idea or a wish or a want in our hearts. It's there for a reason. It's not for you to be like, I'm not going to worry about it. It's like, no, if there's a little something inside of you, like that's pulling on your heart, that there's a little fire in you of like, man, I feel like this is something for me, but I'm scared and it's terrifying and I don't know how, God, I don't have the finances, I don't, whatever the reasons, we're always so filled with fear and the what ifs. But you know how many times it says in the Bible, do not fear, and that was something I had to learn. I'm a very anxious person, but I've had to learn to drop that and just trust, and I know a lot of Christians are not crazy about tattoos, but I do have a tattoo and it says Jehovah Jireh. And that is for me, my reminder if I ever doubt again, which will happen.
Totally.
So to me, it's like God is our provider. He will take care of us. And it's not always in our timing. He's not going to like, now you're rich and famous. Like, no, you have to work for it. You have to like take the steps, it's probably not going to be the easiest thing. But again, if there is a passion inside of you and a want and a need, then it's there for a reason. And you can again and just nurture that and listen to that calling and just continuously ask God of like, okay, I'm doing what I can. Now I don't know where to go. Help me, guide me, show me. And to always just know that he's right there with you and he will reveal the path to you.
I think oh no, totally. I think sometimes, as Christians we either tend to like melodrama our own experience and like we hear phrases like he's our daily bread and things like that, and we hear the Christianese and we go, oh yeah, I know, but I have real things to worry about, and the humility it takes to deny what we view as what we think is logical and how we feel, and just to say, Lord, truly the only thing that sustains, the only thing that gives life is you. And so I know that commentary was perfect, and just reminding myself, but also that hopefully people watching are just like, sometimes trust is not this like overly confident, we see God's a neon sign in the sky situation. It can be filled, trust can have doubt in it and all those things. So that's amazing to hear.
And also,
Um,
that's something my
close,
dad being a pastor, but just in general being a great dad.
yeah,
And that's something I hold
yeah,
on to. He would always say, you do what you can. Because again, sometimes it can be misunderstood of like, oh, God's got it. I'll just sit back and chill and
totally.
relax. I'll take care of it. It's like, yes and no. No, you have to do the work. So
Yeah,
my dad would always say, you do
yeah,
what you can, what is possible within the resources you have. Be smart, be wise,
yeah,
be good with your money. Don't go spending everything, surround
hmm
yourself with good people that are uplifting and encouraging, make decisions,
yeah,
but do what you can. Obviously, always checking in
mhm,
with, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be going? And then when you hit that kind of like end of the road of like, I did it all, now I don't know what to do, where am I going? That is when you let go.
yeah,
That is when you're like, okay,
hmm
God, this is in your hands.
yeah,
You take it wherever it needs to go. And that's not always easy to do.
yeah. No, but no, that's so perfectly said. All right, final question for you, and I'm making you say things twice, but for the person that's hearing about Beyond Belief, that is maybe they're a bit more tempted to wait till it goes on streaming. Why should they get off the couch? Why should they go to the theater and check out Beyond Belief?
Oh, you have to watch this in the theater because of the music. The
Yeah.
music,
Okay.
there is
Oh,
no
duh.
other way to listen to this than with this big surround system that you only get in the
Yeah.
theater. Like you can have the biggest
Yeah.
surround system at home, great, good for you, but like
Yeah.
you can't beat a theater experience with the big screen,
Now.
with that massive sound, and it's rock
Yeah.
music, and the colors, the
Oh my God.
guitars, the drums,
Yeah.
like it's
And
such
good
an
rock music.
experience.
Good rock
Good
music.
rock
Yeah.
music,
Oh
healthy,
my
good,
gosh.
uplifting,
It
positive rock
yeah.
music. So for that
It's
reason
gonna be
alone,
such a yes.
yeah. And like even
Yes.
the colors like
Perfect
of
answer.
80s, it's 80s. So like the outfits are colorful and the hair is big and the earrings
Yes.
are big. Like everything is bigger. And some of us have not lived in the
Yeah.
80s, so it would be a really fun experience for some people that haven't
Totally.
experienced them, or the ones that have experienced the 80s to be transported back.
Yeah.
So for that,
For
you'll have to
sure.
watch the theaters.
For sure. It's gonna be so polarizing in the best way to hear Petra coming through a movie screen. That's gonna be amazing. So
Yep.
um well, Debbie, it's been an honor, and thank you so much again for taking the time with us today. If you're listening to this and you're coming across Debbie for the first time, please check her out. Her IMDb is expansive, and your filmography is just filled with encouragement and a lot of cool things. So, anything you want to tag, like where can people find you and check you out and things like that?
Sure. I'm very active on social media. I try to post once a day and I try to reply to people. But social media is just my name, Debby Gerber. And let's see, I have a website, but I'm not really crazy about the website. But social media is really
I thought it
Facebook
was
and
cool.
Instagram.
I
It's
thought it
really
was
the
cool.
best thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the best way to like stay in touch and you can send me messages
totally.
and things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone go see Beyond Belief August 28th in the theaters, and then keep up with Debbie Gerber because she'll definitely be putting out some amazing stories in the future. So, Debbie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jared. I really appreciate you and God bless you.